Hi, I'm Cheese, and welcome to my channel. So today, this is going to be my first video. We're going to go over a couple things and kind of what my channel is, and we're also going to talk about the Opardin Clanfather event. I think the biggest thing is he's kind of like underwhelming, is really what I can say. He's all by himself. He's definitely not a Tatura Prime Hide. He's on paper, he doesn't read as well, and Tatura turns out to be pretty good. The block debuff, 60% increased defense, and then being able to shield the entire team under a perfect veil, except for himself, and then possibly freezing his attackers is a pretty good kit so far. I haven't used him too much. I've gotten him to 50, and he's been useful, so I can definitely see if I start booking him out for the A2, A3. A1, we actually don't want the books, I feel like it's a waste. We're already at 80%, which is high enough, and you're just kind of wasting your books, really. But Opardin is a little different. So before we get into this actual event, we're just going to quickly go over his kit and read what it does. I also have the multipliers, which I found off Hell Hades. But other than that, let's talk about Opardin. So he is a legendary magic champ. He's HP based. All of his damage multipliers are HP based, in fact. And he's from the Barbarians, which is a pretty good faction already. Like, you already get Silver Drakes from the login. So Opardin, he'll be another healer. And he should be okay in faction. Not great, but he'll probably pair up well with one Void champ. I can't remember her name.
So, future me, the champion was to Hanarak, who is a pretty cool kit, if I don't say so myself. She got Sunkissed, where she attacks one enemy, 30% chance to increase 30% to speed for 2 turns. Buff chance goes to 50. And she also places a continuous heal on herself, and also places a continuous heal on another ally with the lowest percent. And this is the main part of her kit where I feel like she'll pair well with Opardin. She does some other things. She has 75% chance, 100% when booked, to 50% decreased attack, and block debuffs for 2 turns. It's only one enemy. She also applies a debuff spread for taking 2 random buffs on the target and placing them on all enemies. So if you target an enemy with no debuffs, you will get both of those, or should get both of those on everyone. Situational, but it's actually pretty good for block attack and block buffs. This is actually really good for Hydra. And then she does a 60% increased defense buff on herself and 30% buff on all allies for 2 turns, which is a 3-turn cooldown, so there'll be 1 intermittent gap. And also she removes 1 random debuff from all allies at the start of each turn, and 2 if she's under a continuous heal. So with Opardin, you're basically always getting this 2. She does also have a 70 accuracy in all battles, which is pretty useful, but this is the champion I was talking about, and I just wanted to future self add this in.
But Opardin, so his first A1 is attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50%, booked up to 65%, of decreasing the target's turn meter by 5%, and a 50% chance of filling this turn meters by 5. So this reads kind of weird to me. That there is one, a 50% chance to decrease the turn meter, and there is also a 50, booked to 65, of him filling his own, and that they are actually separately linked, that they are not together the way this reads. Just kind of weird, honestly. It's not like, oh, if you decrease them by 5%, you gain the 5, like the Ursala. But seems to be that they are separate. So you could decrease their turn meter and you could increase his. And 5% is really low. Even if both of these proc at 10%, not that much. And I feel like they didn't really want to like bump this up because it's later passive. But it feels still really weak that they are disjointed and they are seemingly separate chances. This is a 0.14 HP multiplier, which seems pretty weak, honestly. So we're probably going to have to bump up his HP quite a bit, and we'll want to do that anyways because of his A2, which is attacks all enemies. Heals all allies by 10% of this champion's max HP, so we're going to bump up his HP. Heals all allies under continuous S for 50% instead. And then damage, and heal. -1 cooldown, which is a 4-turn cooldown, so it turns to 3. It's okay. Decent heal. The 10% cool, I always thought that this was a little bit cooler than it is. I thought it was 10% and 15% going to 20 and 25. Apparently it is 10% of 15%, which is not that great. So it's an 11% and a 16.5, apparently. I could be wrong, but that is what I have read from the mechanics of when these things say that they deal +5 damage, and heal +10. It's not adding to that, it's just 10% extra heal. His A3, Clan Mentor, is removes all block buffs and heal reduction buffs from allies, and then places 2 continuous heals, making sure that he actually gets his heals off. And then he also has a 75, book to 100, to remove 1 random debuff from the allies on a 4 cooldown, book to 3. So this is essentially kind of where his kit is based around. This is what we are trying to do with Opardin. And I kind of wish that this was a 2-turn cooldown when booked, because there's already a few other champions that are a little bit better. You have Bad L, and you have Withia, and you have even Eurogrim, who are kind of on these powerful 2-turn continuous heals. I mean, Eurogrim is 4-turn cooldown, but I think they last for 3 turns. So it's essentially the same. But being a legendary and this kit is not revolving anything else, getting these continuous heals would be pretty nice. And I feel like that might be like maybe too good in combination with other things. But as himself, if you don't have these other legendaries, he feels very weak. And I feel like that would be a good one that you can really just get him going, is you're constantly getting these heals up. Paternal. Each time a continuous heal buff heals an ally, they'll let allies turn meter by 5%, which comes back to this. If there are multiple champions in the team with this skill, only one will activate. So if there are multiple Opardins, you don't get 10 per. You can see why. If you had 5 of them, you're getting 50% turn meter. Like, from 2 of them. And if you had 4, you'd be getting 100% turn meter. You could kind of continue a chain cycling through, and don't want infinite, obviously. But this is kind of where I'm talking about this kit, where this small 5% chance and these 10% because of his 2, it's only like 15 or 20% turn meter that he's gaining by himself, and his rest of his team is gaining 10 each time they heal. So, like, it's just a weird trickle effect of these heals where he himself does not seem strong. His Rally the Tribe is a 0.8 multiplier, I think it was. So, like, the same as the A1, because the A1 is 0.14, attacks twice. He attacks all enemies instead. It's just like his kit seems to deal not a lot of damage, especially for someone who doesn't really deal too much. He heals, but he heals does not as well as any other character that's like in his class, right? And he just feels completely underwhelming. But that is Opardin, and who's to say that these other interactions aren't amazing? And that if you had someone like Withy of the Ground or Bad L or maybe even Gersh from the login, but I don't know. Probably Eurogrim as well. You might be able to get this turn meter stuff going in Hydra. He might be really good. There might be new champions that are coming out that also have continuous heals that just really start to get this ball rolling. I mean, 15% continuous heals, so for 30% heals each time they activate their turn is pretty good. So, like, he's nothing to sneeze at, but again, he feels underwhelming for a legend. And we're going to talk about how to get his event now. So the Opardin Clanfather event is structured, and they actually put on a nice graphic. They have all the events listed here, and it's kind of disorganized, and each tournament will get an extra 5 for the first or second on the leaderboard. There's 155 shards total. But if we look at this calendar, makes it a little bit clearer, especially on the days. We have Spider and Champion and Training event that starts today. And then we also have Artifact event starting tonight, Dungeon Divers the next day after that, and then Dragon Tournament and so on. So here's the big problem with the event. Just below on the bottom here is an Artifact event 3, or Enhancement event 3, which is 5 more shards. So without the leaderboards 40, we have 115 shards available. And most of these seem pretty doable. Like the last time when I was trying to go for Vladimir the Nightborn, I was looking at this and I decided it wasn't for me because I couldn't do the summon rush. And I feel like this is where a lot of people probably get bogged down, is trying to do the champion chase and then doing a summon rush. Now the summon rush is shard only, so you really need to have prepped for this event or be willing to spend. And the champion chase, you can get them from just any champions anywhere, but rares don't give too much. It's really epics and legendaries that really are the points here. So trying to get this full 20 is going to be really hard just through the green and ancient shards. It's really hard unless you get kind of lucky. Now, there is 115 shards outside of this that you can try and go for. Now, last time I saw the summon rush, it was 5 shards in the first one, and then it was 15 in the back end for the bonus points. And I'm sure it'll be the same with the champion chase. So, looking at it, there's kind of exactly 100 shards if you can get the champion chase tournament and then the 5 points from the summon rush. You basically need to get everything else on this list or be able to get leaderboard events to be able to get Opardin. Now, obviously, if you have Summon Rush, you're willing to spend some money, or you've saved up like a couple months and this is the champion that you really want, it's kind of the only time that you're going to be able to actually get one of these fragment events or these fusion events. Some of them are a little bit easier. Structure and plan and save well. Like you should be saving any of the free gift energies that you have. That is really important to trying to get some of these spider tournaments, these dragon tournaments, these artifact enhancements is just money being saved, which you should be saving money and have a pool and then get through it. And my account is kind of a little bit low, but we're basically going to be selling a lot of spider stuff that is not useful and trying to get our money so that we can roll into the artifact enhancement and go from there. But this is a lot of energy that you really need to save unless you have the big gem pool. Also use the 40 energy for an energy refill. One thing to note as well, that is what I'm saying, is if you do get leaderboards, if you are newer and your leaderboard easy, there's definitely changes and you need to try and get in as many tournaments as you can without the champion chase and the summon rush and try and get these extra shards in the I think this also brings up an interesting topic, is are these legendaries worth it for you, and are you willing to really spend all your resources trying to get this character? Well, as like, unless you have something else, like his kit's fairly underwhelming. If you were to go for have gone for Rhymehide, might have been better off, but now you're definitely depleted as a free to play character or free to play account. Try and get this guy, especially with some of these other things. So my advice is probably trying to go for him. And if you notice during this champion chase that you just can't get these points, you might want to just stop and save, not pull. But if you have a few sacreds saved up, you have a few voids, you have a few ancients, try and pull during the summon and get these going. And I think that's a big thing as well, is these summon rushes is really relies on the sacreds. And it's 500 points per sacred, 120 points per void normally, and 20 points per ancient. And it's like 6,500 points, I think was approximately summon rush was for the final like 15 in Tatura Rhymehide. So you have to pull quite a bit. I think it's like 11. Math is wrong. 11 or 13. 13. I think it's 13. 13 sacreds. Like it's quite a bit. Get that final 20, but I think it's only like 2,500 or 2,750 or something for the first 5, which is why I'm saying that, if you had saved 4 sacreds, couple voids, and then ancients to fill in, you can get that 5 and then get your exact 100 from the rest of this. But really, if you're not saving for these events for the characters that you actually want, you need to be. And I think this is really important. I'm going to flip on to my free-to-play. I'm just going to show you quickly, because I don't think the free-to-play at all. I inherited this free to play account, thankfully, from clanmate Riza. Very kind, and gave me a ninja account because my main account doesn't actually have ninja. So quickly, we're just going to go with this account. We have 26,000 gold, which is kind of got off there. We have quite a few potions. We have 350 void, 120 magic, 50 green, and 75 reds. We have no barrels. We have ninja. We have Druk the Pierced. We have Falconheart. We have our farmer Elaine, and then we have Simple, and we have High Katoon geared. We have Fellhound geared, and then some of these other ones like Apothecary is geared, Warbane is a little bit geared, and the rest of these are kind of just like were just pulled during Christmas 2 times. And I kind of wish that I had still had them, the shards. But that's okay. We actually got some really good pulls in this, so I'm pretty happy about that. The free to play, I think, is in an okay state. But we have Allure to go for, really help in Fire Knight. We have Magnar, who once we get an HP burner other than Ninja, start getting it off. We have Torture Helm, which I want to try the Torture Helm cheese. Account, and we have a couple other characters, like we have Poisoners and have the best champion in the game, Blood Painted. And then we also have like Gorogab, who is going to really help us in Arena. He was pulled after Haikatoon already had 1 book in her, and her mastery's already done, so that kind of sucks. He would have been a lot better, I think. Haikatoon. He has a chance to remove buff, fills turn meters, and then places 50% increased attack, which kind of helps to get the drop on. And there's nothing to say that I can't do Haikatoon and him, especially since he has a heal. But I think this 30% turn meter speed in our team is pretty awesome. With Dirk the Pierced, he's got a really good arena kit where we get the decreased attack, decreased defense, and then we got to provoke on the next turn. Usually, most teams, especially if Ninja Lens is freeze, we get 2 full turns, but if they get a turn, kind of blaze through. But we have not pulled a legendary yet, so go from there. I got a lot of fodder for this event and saving up and want to actually go for it. Just to show you, there is no legendaries in the champion vault either. This is our completely free to play count, and this is kind of the pace car. It is actually a little bit ahead in days, so I will later at some point. But this is at day 119 almost. Almost, yeah. 5 minutes. 19. And my account is like day like 80. So this account is a little bit ahead, but it also shows you like kind of what I've done wrong. And I think that's interesting as well is they've saved a lot of potions. Well, they've been farming potions slowly. They don't have enough green, but that's okay. So I think they just elsewhere. But we have a decent starting kit of a defensive champ, a defensive and offensive champ who's actually like a stud. We have our campaign farmer. We have Ninja, who's just straight up DPS. We have an arena speed lead. We have Fellhound, Fire Knight, War Maiden for some extra damage. Maybe a poisoner that we might build out. And then we have Apothecary and Bellower, which Bellower we will probably turn into our campaign farmer. And then we're probably going to turn Elhain into just like an arena nuke for tag team. Yeah. But this account have very many shards, so when we get down to that summon chase, this count probably to do it. So we're not going to try. Like I even tried saving up some energy. I've got 1,059 energy. We're doing pretty well in the keeps. Dragon Lair, we're easily farming 17, 16 on auto if I'm just not paying attention. We can solo do 15 Fire Knight, 14 on auto. We can do auto stage 15 Labyrinth. Ice Peaks, I haven't really tried too much, but it looks like we're doing pretty well, especially with Duck the Pierced, getting that stuff. So we can probably do 16 auto. This account, I don't think is really. I actually have been doing this the past like 4 days, doing quite a bit. a little sorry, but we got through floors, got through some of the bosses, and then we have yet to try this boss. Yeah, this was our free-to-play account, and when I said I really do want your guys' input on like how we kind of build this account and where we go from here, what champions are kind of exciting to see and build together. As long as it's like semi-serious to like actually progress the account, I really do want your guys' input. So it'd be much appreciated if you guys want to comment or talk of like which champions you're really excited to see, or if something specific that you really want me to try with the champions I already have kind of built out. If you're wondering at 40 if Duck can do something solo or whatever, just let me know. But yeah, thanks guys for trying to watch this video, and please like, comment, subscribe, and I really appreciate just any kind of free support that you guys can give me, especially while starting out. So thank you for taking the time, and we'll be back in another video for a Borgoth cheese, actually. We'll show that after. It took us like 253 turns in like 14 minutes, but we managed to get it down. So if you want to replicate something similar, we will show you that cheese. It's pretty easy if you have a metal shaper and an armature, and then some kind of other turn meter control champion. So I'll see you then. Yeah.